maniacs! You canceled a really decent, great show! Damn you, NBC! Damn you all to hell! Greetings, Anthony Mars Jr. on PR, Lost Galaxy 2014, with my next edition of the Terra podcast episode 131, here on Terra Venture, presented by my self-devoted fan page on Facebook and elsewhere. And today's TV series review I'm going to do is on the NBC romantic comedy series A to Z. I have not even got a chance. I don't know what I was thinking. Instead of me watching Bad Judge, I should have went ahead and saw this show. Because, to be honest, A to Z was a very decent show. But it sucks that NBC had to cancel the damn show because due to low ratings, yet it would continue and complete its 13th episode run. That sucks. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have been better off, when this show started, I should have been better off seeing this show instead of Bad Judge, because Bad Judge was a terrible show. What the hell was I thinking? I made some really terrible decisions, haven't I? The only episodes of A to Z that I have on my DVR is the JKL episodes. With those initial names. Now, I know most of you pretty much preferred A to Z, but it sucks that the show was canceled. And, well, it had its run. It had its run while it lasted. I think the reason why I wanted to see this show was because Cristin Milioti is in that show. Is in the show. And along with this guy I never saw before prior to A to Z's existence, Ben Feldman, who plays Andy. You see, the show of A to Z, for those who do not know it or never even seen the show despite the fact lower viewership, is that the series follows the lives of Andrew, an employee at an internet dating site who dreams of meeting the girl of his dreams, Zelda, and Zelda, a no-nonsense lawyer who was raised by a hippie mother and carries a rebellious streak. I just don't seem to get it. The show was so good. I should have better off seeing A to Z from the start when it premiered on October 2nd, 2014 on NBC, Thursday night at 9:30 after Bad Judge premiered, instead of watching Bad Judge itself. Because you knew Bad Judge sucked. This show could have been opposite. I gotta stop stammering. An opposite contender against it. I would have wished A to Z would have had a fan following. Now, if the show is canceled, they could have at least put it streamed online for that way for those who never got to see the show when it first aired, to see the episodes somewhere like on, let's say, Crackle or Netflix somewhere, because most of the time when a TV show doesn't last long, even if it's a show that just started to air on TV for about 12, 13 episodes, if the show didn't do so well, it gets canned and it gets axed, and then canceled TV shows don't return for syndicated reruns forever. They just go away forever, and you don't find them nowhere, unless if you have them on DVRs, DVDs, recorded DVDs, or VHS tapes. That's fine, but this is the problem, because I had this issue before with a couple of TV shows I really, really, really wanted to watch. But A to Z fell victim next in line to a couple of shows I wanted to see in the past that got canceled because, and all that. But this show, I could have I would have gave this show a chance the first time when it first aired, instead of going with Kate Walsh, because due to the fact Kate Walsh was one of my favorite actresses, and I thought Bad Judge was a good show, but unfortunately it's a bad fucking piece of shit show. And knowing that I should have picked A to Z over that show again, and period. and also the Mysteries of Laura. I'm still continuing recording episodes of that on my DVR. And Constantine, because, well, to be honest though, there's just no good shows on NBC that I can watch other than Saturday Night Live and Grimm. Saturday Night Live's on Saturday nights and Grimm on Friday nights around 9 on NBC. With Grimm being on the same time Hawaii Five-0 does at 9 on CBS. A to Z. I mean, the show had a great go. I mean, but yet it's canceled. I shouldn't. Well, I'm sorry. I started off this podcast being a bit butthurt when I shouldn't be butthurt. That for a show that I really wanted to see with an actress that I wanted to get into, that I really thought was attractive. Now, don't get me wrong. Cristin Milioti was the show. If the show was about her, I would have watched that show. I would have watched the show all day, because I like Cristin Milioti. I think what got to me why I wanted to see the show before it would go away, and despite its cancellation, was because. And sorry for the interrupting. Stop interrupting me! First podcast of 2015, I get interrupted because what's going on the news right now about this terrorist attack in Paris? I just can't. I can't concentrate. And then also with the TVs up so loud in here, it's like I got voices in my head, and that's creepier of me. Where was I? I just lost track. Anyway, the show. What was I talking about? A to Z. Oh, right. Sorry. By an accidental chance of fate, Zelda meets Andrew to resolve a mismatch dating dispute, and these two single people suddenly find themselves falling for each other. From there, the series chronicles their relationship timeline from A to Z and is narrated by Katie Sagal, Peg Bundy, Leela herself. So, I mean, though, if Katie Sagal is in the show, it could have been better if they gave her like a cameo and on screen instead of narrating the show, at least. The show has a few executive producers by the names of those that are part of NBC lore, like Rashida Jones, who is the main executive producer of the show, Ben Queen, Will McCormick, and two others. And each episode is 22 minutes, but despite in between it when it was on air, commercials. I'm sorry. I just have a very, very bad day. I just got up on the wrong side of bed today, and then as soon as I thought about this podcast in my head because, well, although I didn't write it on paper, but I'm just gonna post it when I say I will. And as soon as when I wanted to do a podcast on A to Z and following the cancellation, and it sucks that the show is, well. And also, again, when I was talking about if you can stream, if the show is no longer on the air anymore and is canceled after just one season, well, knowing TV shows that were one-year wonders, one-season wonders that were canceled, a lot of those TV shows, it's hard to find canceled TV shows anywhere. You can't find a show that you wanted to see that's canceled. And, if you post it on YouTube, if you post the full-length episodes, it's copyright, and you can't have that up there, and, it's going to be gone forever, and I can't seem to find it. And, finding snippets and bits of it and clips is pathetic. So I just want to see the full-length episodes before they're fully gone again. When I was on NBC's official website for the show on my desktop computer, and when I was trying to stream a full-length episode, like let's say the pilot episode, A is for acquaintances. I tried to see if the episode was going to play, but the only thing that was playing on the NBC's video player for the episode was an advertisement for any company brand name. And as soon as when the advertisement is over, the video player on NBC's website for A to Z is not playing the episode. It's just not playing absolutely nothing. Either that or my internet connection is pretty wonky in some ways, but I don't know what the problem is. And all I can see is just only a few clips of the show available, but not the full-length episode. I'm like, that sucks. And then as soon as I rewatched the show on DVR recordings, although I only have about like 3 episodes, 2 more episodes to go, and the show is bye-bye. And Man, I should have recorded A to Z as well from the start instead of fucking not A to Z, Bad Judge. I mean, just because Kate Walsh was on that show and think she was gonna be like, oh, that bad of a judge, and like wanted to be this half of the time court judge, half the time narcissistic party girl. Oh God, please! I should have spent my time with this show on Thursday nights instead of Bad fucking Judge. I'm serious. I should have been better off with should have been better off with A to Z than that piece of shit show. But then again, well, when knowing both shows were canceled, I mean, at least this show had have a bunch of favorability. I mean, if that's the term I was going for, with people who like the show, while a lot of people hate Bad Judge. You know, this show should have been benefited for a sitcom on TBS. Though there is no network asking for a renewal if they can renew the show on another network. Because look at TBS. I mean, look what happened after 3 years with Cougar Town and why the first 3 seasons was on ABC, and after the 3rd season, it would be moved to TBS because low ratings on the ABC ended, and when they moved to TBS, ratings were still low for that show, and that's why the January starting now is the final season of Cougar Town, and after that, bye Cougar Town, and I don't know what Courtney Cox has in store for her future endeavors as an actress and beyond. But A to Z, I wish that this show should have benefited for a TBS sitcom or something, or a show for FXX, because knowing NBC, half of the time NBC, some of the shows they have on right now, I'm not gonna say Mysteries of Laura. I mean, I only saw about 1 or 2 episodes until I was like busy watching something else. To be honest, half of the shows they have on NBC right now, except for the veteran show Saturday Night Live, their longest running show, now lasting 40 seasons. Half of the shows they have are not. I mean, I try to get in some interest in them. I mean, I can watch what shows is on CB. A lot of shows what's on now on CBS and ABC, TBS, FX, FXX, FXM, and those networks, USA, TNT, but half of the shows they have now, I mean on NBC, they just don't appeal me. I mean, at least I got a chance to see Whitney Cummings' show, which got canceled after 2 seasons. I mean, you guys could have gave A to Z a second chance. I mean, and according to the reception, A to Z had some favorable reviews from TV critics and audiences alike, unlike Bad Judge. But yet, the ratings for Bad Judge is low as all hell. Maybe if people would be watching the show more, it would get, well, knowing other people have other shows to watch at the time when the show would air, so I get that. Everybody everyone has a favorite interest in other stuff. I get it. Again, I should have, I'm tired of repeating this over and over in this podcast because I feel like I am repeating myself like a broken record saying the same thing, but I know that's annoying. And it's just, I should have stuck with A to Z instead of Bad Judge. Because in comparison to Bad Judge, A to Z is not as bad as you think it would be. A to Z is, I can see if A to Z was a sitcom I would watch on Tuesday nights or what's a popular night to watch a show that just started coming out and all. Friday nights, I guess. Because, Friday nights, usually Friday nights, if you move a show that didn't work out on Thursdays and they have low ratings, and you put them on Fridays, that's considered the Friday night death slot. So I wouldn't suggest Bad Judge on Friday nights. I mean, not Bad Judge, A to Z. I don't know why I keep saying Bad Judge, because, you see, I just had that bad taste of that damn show in my mouth. But putting A to Z on a Friday night would be considered Friday night death slots. I mean, for a show that just isn't working out, struggling to get an audience, and has low reviews and ratings, and then putting them on Fridays, that's going to make it worse. And then after that, cancellation, you're gone, goodbye, you're dead, rest in peace. We won't see you anymore. It happens to a lot of TV shows that I wanted to see, except for shows that did make it into the ratings. A to Z, I once when I do get episodes 12 and 13, that's only going to be about 5 episodes. I mean, I already have episodes 9, 10, and 11 on my DVR. But what I'm trying to see is the first 8 episodes of the show. From the first episode, which is A for acquaintances, all the way to what letter is episode 8. These episode descriptions on Wikipedia is so damn long. Shit. Oh, H for Hostile Takeover. That aired on November 20th of last year. Now, I'm going to recap a couple of episodes. I'm going to recap the first 8 episodes, except episodes I've already seen on NBC's, when it was on NBC when it first aired. Because, I can't fully stream the episodes on the computer because the video player on my end, on my computer, won't play the episodes full stream. But once when the show is gone, once when the show is canceled, the show is no longer available on NBC's website. So, unless if you guys want to bootleg the show and try to, do something like illegally try to download all the episodes and put them on YouTube, but quickly before Warner Brothers Television will catch you in the act for it, then I would be, so. So I'm going to recap I'm going to recap the first 8 episodes and discuss a little bit, although I never even saw the episodes. Because, at first I thought A to Z was a crap show, and when knowing it was actually a good show. But again, it sucks. It's canceled. So, episode 1, A is for Acquaintances. Original airing October 2nd, 2014. The series begins with Zelda entering Wallflower, an online dating service, to file a complaint. Her best friend, Stephanie, sets up her account and profile, which led to a horrible date. Andrew and his co-worker/roommate, Stu, greets her, and Stu starts feeding him pickup lines. Andrew escorts her to the proper department, and they discuss if they have already met. Later, she calls him at his desk, and as her office is in the adjacent building visible from him. After each follow the other on various social sites, he asks her out for a drink. At the bar, a familiar tune plays, and he thinks she attended a concert where he admired her from afar and imagined life together with her. She insists it wasn't her and ends the date. Convinced it was her, Andrew enlists the help of 2 programmers from work, Denise and Laura, to take her Wallflower profile and find online evidence of her at the concert that night. Meanwhile, Stephanie tells Zelda about her new man, a jazz musician. I'm sorry, I'm messing up. Scatman Des Moines, and reminds her to open her heart to have luck finding love. Zelda apologizes to Andrew for overreacting, but overhears Laura and Denise tell Andrew about some online pictures proving she was at the club, only in a red dress, and only on a different night that he attended. Furious, Zelda calls him a stalker. Oh boy. Stephanie and Stu arrives separately. Stu is Scatman, a persona he adopted to successfully bed Stephanie, for which Zelda buzzes him. Later, Andrew and Zelda are working late. She calls to invite him for a drink, but he declines, stating she should stay away. She finally admits to being at the concert in a silver dress on the first night. She confesses having trouble getting close to people, but is willing to try again. They meet outside, and she asks for another chance. He kisses her. And that's how the first episode ends. Episode 2, B is for Big Glory. Original air date, October 9th. After his promising date with Zelda lasts all night, Andrew returns to the office with a song in his heart and in his head. The song happens to be the theme music from This Week in Baseball, which he calls his Big Glory music. Now, if you may know, This Week in Baseball was a canceled, sort of, I guess. No. It used to be a show on Fox. Never heard of it, though. What he calls his Big Glory music accompaniment to his finest moments of his life. Stu worries that Andrew might be in deep and cautions him about moving too fast. Andrew then realizes he has a pre-standing date with coworker Brooke. He is torn, but thinks canceling might set Brooke into an emotional tailspin. He also feels compelled to tell Zelda she admires his honesty, but lies about also having a date. Her jealousy forces her to commission Stephanie to find out as much as she can about Brooke and quickly arrange a date with Mike, a vapid but hunkish coworker. Andrew suffers through his date with Brooke while having Stu recon Zelda's date. He reports that they leave a restaurant early, and Andrew ends his own date to drive to Zelda's apartment. A shirtless Mike opens the door, and Andrew assumes the worst and drives off. The next day, he arranges to meet with her. She blurts out that Mike was only at her apartment because he needed something notarized. Andrew tells her nothing happened on his date earlier. Either. However, he then reveals you see, as you may hear this, but while I'm reading the episode descriptions, I'm reading this off my PlayStation 3's internet browser on my TV, and it's hard. I can see if I had a transcript, a Wikipedia transcript that I printed out, then I can read it easily, but sorry for the stammering and stuttering. Sorry, and messing up. Go ahead and dislike my video for that. Reveals hearing majestic music in his head whenever he thinks of her. She merely and politely thanks him. Back in her office, she finds a package that Andrew dropped off for her. Inside, he has crafted a personalized bicycle license plate, spelling out her name by combining several other nameplates into one. Zelda has never found her own in her lifetime. She marches into Wallflower, telling him that she loves it, and his confession about his Big Glory music. They each also insist to not wanting to see other people. She leaves her own Big Glory music plays in her head as the episode ends there. In Episode 3, C is for Curiouser and Curiouser. That aired on October 16th. Stephanie demonstrates an app for rating ex-boyfriends, determining not to be surprised by her next suitor. Andrew reveals that Wallflower's research has determined that knowing too much about someone before beginning to date is actually harmful to the development of a healthy relationship. Zelda, hearing Stephanie's perspective, does some online research about Andrew. Hours later, she finds dashboard camera footage of Andrew being arrested outside the Oakland Raiders game. Uh-oh. Although outraged, she gives him a chance to mention it, but he fails to do so. She lashes out at him, hiding his arrest. He explains that it was 10 years prior. Well, 10 years prior to the show, obviously. And the cops had it out for him. She still feels hurt and mistled. Back at Wallflower, CEO Lydia, I think Lydia, begins snooping on her staff via her computer webcams. She is appalled to learn they call her Big Bird. Howard explains that Big Bird is a high-ranking member of the Sesame Street cast. She embraces the term as an honorific. I'm sorry for reading that word wrong. Meanwhile, Denise and Laura leave Andrew a USB flash drive with Zelda's Wallflower profile and a few other secrets on it. Andrew cannot help but take a peek. Zelda later apologizes for invading his privacy and his trust. He confesses to pursue her profile, but found nothing. She blurts out, "Damn, how many times is Zelda going to blurt out to Andrew? Damn. Man, what have I been missing?" She blurts out that she was once married. She quickly explains about Gustav, a fellow law student whose student visa was expiring. She married him so he could stay and practice law school. She assures Andrew that it was strictly platonic, and she divorced Gustav the day he received his citizenship. Why would you do that? She and Andrew agreed to not keep secrets from one another. However, her revelation has set off a jealous courtesy of him. He goes Gustav, now a handsome, successful Swedish lawyer. Andrew begins stalking him. Why are you going to stalk Gustav? That's effed up. He later sees Gustav is joined at his lunch by Zelda. Andrew sneaks to the better hearing and see them, not noticing that he is learning against a police car. Too focused and obsessed to listen to the officers, he gets handcuffed, but not before he hears Gustav has invited Zelda to lunch to meet his new fiancée. Zelda rescues Andrew, calling in a favor to get him released from prison so early. She later explains to him, while growing up, her only role models were her parents, as explained why I brought her character up earlier, who were anything but a happily married couple. Still, she understands Andrew's belief in marriage and is less cynical now to him. In D is for Debbie, after young Zelda's hippie parents were divorced, I think, if only if I saw this episode, I knew this. I know I'm describing this as that there was a flashback moment that happened in the beginning of that episode. I can tell. Okay. After young Zelda's hippie parents divorced, her mother would disappear for weeks at a time, leaving Zelda with her mother's close friend Debbie, a nurturing Earth mother who loved her, sustained her, and taught her how to cope. Debbie had recently died, and Zelda shares her sorrow with Andrew. Left undiscussed is the question of attending the funeral and memorial service. Andrew really wants to attend and wonders if she will invite him. Afraid to expose Andrew of his eccentric extended family, she chooses not to invite him to the service. Debbie and her friends were New Age, earthbound, and self-actualizing. Everything that Zelda was not. Which might frighten Andrew. Zelda takes Stephanie instead, avoiding the issue with Andrew. He still crashes the service, surprising Zelda, pissing her off even more, further and further. He thinks he has made a mistake, but her family immediately loves him, inviting him to a chant-based grieving ceremony. Zelda's uncle Dave confesses to her and Andrew that he is grieving in his own way by taking a bunch of magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms? What the fuck is this? Super Mario Brothers all of a sudden? And is in no shape to deliver a eulogy. How do you pronounce that word, people? Eulogy? Eulogy? I think I got it. I just had it right. Eulogy, I guess. Zelda gets asked to do it. Immediately terrified, she begins to shut down, go off even more again. I'm really starting to like Zelda's character. Oh, wait a minute. The show's canceled, so I can't rewatch the show now? Fuck. Andrew helps her with some remarks. She gets through the speech after the service. She admits to him about fearing his seeing her in an emotional, embarrassing state. She is actually grateful he came and saw her at her most emotional rot. Seems like that is the most powerful episode of the show. Okay. Halloween themed episode. E is for Ectoplasm. Original airing October 30th. Day before Halloween. Andrew and Zelda decide to celebrate their 1-month anniversary by throwing a Halloween party. Upsetting Stu and Stephanie, both of whom traditionally and separately enjoy the day with each. Andrew and Stu normally don their Ghostbusters. I fucking hate Ghostbusters. So fucking overrated. Jumpsuit costumes and jam to the theme song. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbuster! Oh, okay, just thinking about it just make me want to play the Ghostbusters theme song now. Stephanie and Zelda normally dress up as Laverne and Shirley. Their two favorite sitcom characters. Which is which? Who's dressed up in this episode as Laverne? Who's dressed up as Shirley? I think Zelda. I mean, from the image I have from the website for the show, or from Cristin Milioti's fan site, that I think when Milioti was playing her Zelda character, I thought from the look of the costume and the wig that she was wearing, the blue dress and that wig, I think Zelda's dressed up as Shirley, or it's Stephanie that's dressed up as Shirley, or it's Zelda that's dressed up as Laverne, and Stephanie's dressed up as Shirley. I got mixed up. Let me look up on the Wikipedia thing real quick. Laverne and Shirley, what are they from? What TV show? Oh, it was a TV sitcom that aired on ABC from 1976 to 1983. Way before my time. Next. And even from the image that I have from the official website from NBC's website for A to Z, from the look, when I look at Cristin Milioti with the wig, it makes her look a bit like a young Carol Burnett a little bit. I don't know. I guess that's just my vibe of seeing things. And I didn't know that, according to their, as part of their character developments and interests, that Stephanie and Zelda, that Laverne and Shirley is Stephanie and Zelda's two favorite sitcom characters. Wow. And they've been doing it every year, even years prior to the show. Man, I wish that this show came out a little sooner. I would have knew this stuff. I can see if the show came out in like 2010, 2011, then we would see some development with that close coming. Andrew and Zelda quickly call a summit. Stu and Stephanie will throw a party on their behalf. However, Stu and Stephanie cannot agree on any details, including whether to spend most of the budget on a personal appearance from Ray Parker Jr. to sing the Ghostbusters theme song. Stu and Stephanie apologize to Zelda and Stu. Stu then tells them that they are not just a new couple, but best friends. Stephanie echoes the fear of losing Zelda, her own best friend. Andrew and Zelda pledge their lifetime friendship to their pals, who can never be replaced. Man, if only I saw that episode. Again, instead of fucking around with Bad Judge, Kate Walsh's god-awful show, I should have stuck with this show. Fight, 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 episode 6. When a man bumps into, then insults Zelda outside an eatery. I think that's referring to cafeteria as another term. She owns the moment and defends herself. As Andrew prepares to do so, he is amazed yet feels slightly emasculated. Later, Stu offers to lie in wait and randomly tests Andrew's fighting reflexes, like the Callow character in the Pink Panther films. Kato character in the Pink Panther movies. Andrew declines, but Stu makes no promises. Andrew then asks Zelda if she would have preferred him to step up. She tells him no, that she preferred level-headed, smart, and sensitive men like him. What? Why you want sensitive men? Men are not, why you want a sensitive man? A man shouldn't be that sensitive. They gotta be tough and strong and ready for battle and all that. Nah, and is very aware when danger strikes and shit. Stu finds a VHS tape. They don't make VHSs anymore, but still. From his and Andrew's childhood, featuring home footage of young Andrew in full jiu-jitsu mode. Man, if only I saw this episode too. He convinces Andrew to stubbornly show it to Zelda to prove how tough he was. However, when he does, the martial arts tape has been spliced with footage of him performing a musical at age 10. What the Outside, Andrew and Zelda walk when an obnoxious sign spinner dressed like Abraham Lincoln bumps into him. That's fucked up. Not to be undone again, he brawls with Abe. He rips off his mask, and the offender is shown to be a woman. What the fuck? Now that, my friends, is pure comedy right there. Unlike in You Know What. This angers Zelda, who later explains that she doesn't need a brood, but rather someone to support and listen to her and even help her make simple decisions. Her workload was crazy lately enough, and she needed someone to help her unwind. Woo-saw! Yeah, Zelda, you needed to have some. I mean, when you go into the second and third act of an episode of the show, even though it's canceled, she should have did some of that woo-saw kind of thing. But yeah, because Zelda. I mean, I like the way how Cristin Milioti's playing her character. I mean, when she played this character off in the show, but if only if I saw the previous episodes prior to episode 9, which was that Christmas episode, episode 9, I would have seen how she was like from start to finish. I mean, between the episodes I already have on my DVR from when I could have got it on my DVR because I was so, that would have benefited for the best on my behalf of watching this show. Instead of fucking around with Kate Walsh and what the fuck she was doing on Bad Judge with her Rebecca Wright character, that would have been great. That would have made my opportunity to watch the show pure justice. But no, I fucked around with Bad Judge on Thursday nights at 9 instead. Seriously, Zelda, you should try Woo-saw. And let go to the steam in your head. The angry steam in your head. She needs... so she needs someone to help her unwind. The next night, he shows up on her doorstep with takeout food from her favorite Thai restaurant. He has learned his lesson, and as he sits in an easy chair, he is attacked again by Stu, who has been lying in wait a long time. Damn, another great episode. Missed opportunity for me to watch. Episode 7. G is for Geronimo! Zelda and Andrew merge their music collections. So in this episode we discover what is their favorite music and what is their in terms of their tastes, huh? He later finds an audition demo file for a 16-year-old Zelda. But she intercepts and insists that he never listened to it. She explains that her childhood dream was to be a professional singer, convinced it was a likewise unwise career choice. She went to law school. That's why she went to law school. So singing was never really her talent it was her dream, but it never made it into fruition in future years. Wow. So her hippie parents told her not to sing that's fucked up. At work, however, he shares his newly expanded music library, which actually allows his coworkers to hear her demo song. What's worse, one of his coworkers shared it with the Office Park and a number of file-sharing sites, like BitTorrent, the Pirate Bay. People seem to like it. Zelda wonders if she made the mistake of her life, but not pursuing her music dreams. He calls it a sensible teenage decision from back in Zelda's past. But Zelda, however, then reveals that she also turned down an audition at the Berklee College of Music. Andrew secretly begins researching local music academies, looking to give her a second chance. Being tricked into an open audition, she storms out, not only to be convinced by him to return and sing her best. The conservatory leaves a message about her audition. She wants to listen to it with him, but is at peace with her childhood decision not to pursue a music career. That's why, again, law school. If she had, she wouldn't have her satisfying law career as a lawyer. Her great friends, or even Andrew. They start listening to the message together. Meanwhile, Stu discovers that Stephanie is a trained psychic. He insists that she gives him a second reading. And she ultimately comes up with the name Geronimo. I just mentioned that. He also idolized a Geronimo motorcycle from his childhood, but had never told anyone about it. He later spots a vintage Geronimo motorcycle for sale, however, as the episode ended there. I don't think I've seen this episode 8, I suppose, well, although I didn't record it, but I think I've seen only bits of it a little bit. H is for hostile takeover. At Wallflower, site traffic has increased due to people hooking up, breaking up, and returning to the site. Andrew is annoyed. Wallflower used to be about creating long-lasting relationships, not just hookups. He reluctantly sends an email to Lydia to vent. The next day, she demotes him from his assistant marketing director job, giving it to Jordan. Seeing Andrew dejected, Stu insists on a bro night to help Andrew rediscover himself. This proves difficult. To make matters worse, new boss Jordan announces that they're getting rid of the matchmaking side of the company. Andrew explains plainly to Lydia if the company continues down the hooking up path, it won't last long, forever. They need to keep promoting love. Lydia gives Andrew a chance to prove himself and also give him his job back. Zelda reassures him that his thoughts are his. Others just provide a little encouragement and nudging. Now, I think this is a good character piece for Andrew in this episode, although I never saw it, though. Now, this is the episode that aired December 11th, well, when the show was on its Christmas hiatus, and then also, even though the show was already been canceled, on October 30th, thanks to NBC canceling that and Bad Judge at the same time. I wish I'll talk about it later on when I discuss the show later on. Now, I is for ill communication. The December 11th episode that I did record, the first episode of A to Z that I recorded on my DVR. So starting with this episode, this is of the 5 remaining last episodes I will record on my DVR and put on DVD. I'll might as well stick with those 5 episodes of A to Z and just rewatch it and just forget about the first 8 episodes, although I never got to see them. But I wish I had the opportunity, if someone would put up those first 8 episodes of A to Z on their YouTube account, somewhere, if they can try to get through NBC's website and get them illegally, then I would get the chance to see those episodes. But till forward, no, I'm afraid I can't see the show anymore. That sucks. Now, I think this was a good episode, a good Christmas episode for a TV show that started but is canceled again. Sorry for hearkening to that point, to that gist. Andrew and Zelda decide to spend their first Christmas together as besties, or I guess that's the way I'm going to put it. He enlists Stephanie's help to find the perfect gift and suggests Zelda get Stu's help for him. Stephanie helps Andrew find a gilded bracelet online. They celebrate over drinks, where he admits that he doesn't really want to spend Christmas with Zelda because he has never missed the holiday with his dad. And that's kind of sad. Why can't he spend Christmas with his dad? That is, he never missed the holiday with his dad. I don't know how to put my finger on that point there. Where was I? Oh, at the time when I recorded this bit of my podcast, I was out somewhere and I also had to get something to eat from McDonald's real quick. And then I came back here and have to pick up where I left off at this portion of the video here. Excuse me. Andrew makes a promise not to tell Zelda. Meanwhile, Stu and Zelda compete with each other to find the perfect gift for Andrew. I had to add perfect to that sentence there. Just paraphrase. After some bonding, Zelda also admits that she doesn't want to spend Christmas with Andrew. Because she has never spent the holiday anywhere but with her family. She has a reason. Zelda swears Stu to secrecy. Back at the apartment, Stu blurts out to Andrew that Zelda doesn't want to spend Christmas with him. Later, Andrew and Zelda decorate a tree, while Stu and Stephanie watch from a distance. Minor squabbles lead to a full-blown outburst on the priority of opening one gift on Christmas Eve. Well, my tradition every year when it's Christmas Eve, I don't open my Christmas until Christmas morning. But what the hell? It's the show's way of like opening at least one gift for Christmas Eve and open the rest till tomorrow on the following Christmas morning. So yeah, we get it. Everybody, some people do it too. Enough said. Andrew finally confesses that he doesn't want to spend Christmas with Zelda. Zelda immediately responds with the same thing, and then goes to book a flight back home. At the apartment again. Airport, Andrew meets her to see her off. They wish each other a Merry Christmas. Then he quickly apologizes for the fight. What fight? Oh. He admits to feeling insecure, fearing that Zelda didn't like him as much as he liked her. From the beginning when the show started. Amazed, she admit to feeling the same way. Although reconciled, they still doesn't know what to do with them with each other next. Zelda heads off to her flight, then turns around and grabs him and profess him that she loves him. Andrew reciprocates. How do you pronounce that word? Reciprocates, I think. And they are happily than ever, even if it means spending the holidays apart. This was the first episode of A to Z that I did add on my DVR, because according to my DVR listing of what shows that I have on my thing, my TV's still on CNN because that news outbreak, what's happening in Paris with the shooters. Yes, I have that episode. I is for ill communication is included on my DVR. And then episode 10, I think, J is for John Vaughn, and K is for Keep Out. I'm not going to talk about the other two episodes before the show will come to an end, because I can tell that the show is going to end around late this month, so around January 30th. Goodbye, A to Z. Nice knowing you for 13 episodes. Although you guys didn't last much, I wish you would have stayed on forever for another season. But what the hell? But you can't. I'm not going to talk in full detail about episodes 10 and 11. 12 and 13 are the final two episodes, and then the show is canceled. Now, overall, my thoughts on A to Z exactly. I thought, unlike Bad Judge, I'm tired of cursing the audience who's listening to my podcast on this show when in conjunction to this is in reference in comparison with this. A to Z, I thought, for a short-lived romantic comedy show about dating, I thought this is pretty much one of the best shows of this past TV season. And I think the main reason why I watched A to Z for a couple of episodes, but only have about like five episodes, about to get 5 episodes, the last final 5 until the show's canceled. I think the best part of the show, the character with the most interest in me for watching the show, is Zelda, Cristin Milioti's character. I've always thought Zelda was more interesting. She was perky, straight-laced, conservative. And in the meantime, she is really talk about having her, at times in the second and third acts of each episode. She is really, Zelda is she can get very emotional, and I see that. I see the vibe of where she was getting at with her character. For a character who is a lawyer, who at first didn't think being in a relationship would work, but even though when, as mentioned in the aforementioned episode, she was previously married, but had to divorce that guy because, but it's kind of like she really. I can relate to Zelda's character. I really do. And I also like the way how Cristin Milioti looks in the show in terms of makeup and the wardrobes in each episode. Although in the photo screen caps that I have, she is really gorgeous looking. I really like looking at Cristin Milioti. Actually, this show is although she was previously the mother on How I Met Your Mother's final season, and also, although I had a guest spot in the previous season before the final season of that show last year, but she looks a lot gorgeous in this show. I'm not going to say she didn't look gorgeous in past appearances on anything else, like, prior-wise, even though she was previously, before A to Z in terms of NBC shows, she was actually, Cristin was on an episode of 30 Rock once. For those who've seen her on 30 Rock as, what was the name of the character? I didn't see her on 30 Rock, but if I had a chance to watch that rerun episode where she was, then I would go ahead and analyze her character a little bit. And one day, when I do come back, discuss on my Celebrity Rants video series, I will probably discuss that on my future Cristin Milioti celebrity discussion video soon. And I don't know when. I'm not going to tell you exactly when, so I will eventually. Andrew, he was a good character too, but he was being the online hosting this online dating site, who on and off at times messes around while in a relationship with Zelda, when Zelda doesn't want to be in a relationship with Andrew, but she ends up falling for him anyway. This show is so complex. Why would you cancel this show? And that's the problem. Why would you cancel a show that I thought had an interesting premise? I could see if the show was on TBS again, or Comedy Central, this show would have benefited for ratings. But knowing NBC, we no longer have 30 Rock. For those that like The Office, again speaking, if you remember beckoning, hearing me hear about why I don't like The Office. And so many of these other shows, those shows, NBC just don't have any good shows that I can watch. The decent, one of the few shows I did watch, that isn't like how I remember, was, again, Whitney Cummings' show, but unfortunately Whitney is canceled. It's been canceled since 2 years ago, I think. But seeing A to Z get canceled, I was pissed. I'm real pissed. I'll just might as well stick with the last 5 episodes of the show that led to its cancellation, and just, probably take a look back at the show a little bit and see what I thought about it overall. And also, I think the other peripheral characters, I didn't really care about the other secondary characters like Stu and Stephanie. The only 2 characters I only cared about was the 2 main characters themselves, Andrew and Zelda. Was Zelda especially my top favorite character. Because, I think thanks to this show, I now have a crush on Cristin Milioti. Sorry about those cans clattering, clanking down, in the background. But anyway, it's just, what I meant to say is, Andrew and Zelda are the only 2 characters. Again, I just get, I told you, this is one of those issues that I had detracting back from 2 years ago when I started on this channel, that when I be doing videos where I'm discussing something or whatever, and because, I'm in a house of, consisting of 3 people, including myself as that third person, and when I have 2 other people who is part of my family, a parent and a sibling, in the house with me 24/7, and and then other stuff is a sundering in the background. Half of the time it just kind of drowns me out, and it's like that's the ambience of the sounds in the background. Like, that's the sounds' way of saying fuck me. I've explained that past videos ago, but anyway. But I think Zelda was the best character of the whole show. And but aside from the show being canceled and all, that just really, I don't know. I feel that the show is kind of, if only if it had, again, I wish, I don't know how to come across with this, but if the show was renewed for, you know, what if they picked, suppose if it was a web series instead of a TV series. I can see, you know, at first when I heard of A to Z, I didn't think I had no interest. I thought the show was boring because when I heard this and the Kate Walsh Judge show, came out, I didn't think A to Z was a good show at first. I mean, as soon as I heard the show was getting canceled and What's Its Face show was getting canceled too, at the same time, because both this and that was on Thursday nights for this past TV season at a 9 o'clock hour share. And for some reason, suppose if A to Z was a web series, I wouldn't have problems seeing the show get canceled. Well, some web series I can think of, even I've heard of but never watched, was like this too. But again, if A to Z was a web series, it would have a full season order. But for a televised series of a relationship between a lawyer and an online dating site manager, of his job was getting together, that would have benefited on some company studio's behalf, like Netflix or Crackle. That would be great. But in final thoughts though, this show had a great run. But I wish it was renewed for another season, but sadly it's not. And I hate it when it comes to TV shows I never got the chance to see the first few times, and then as soon as I hear it's axed by the network that it's airing on, it kind of disappoints me, and it disappoints a couple of people. Even if the show had lower viewership, you could have at least gave the show a cult fan base a little bit. Even if the show only lasted for like 11 episodes. Well, hey, if that Patrick Warburton live-action show, The Tick, didn't fare well in the ratings and got canceled, but yet had a cult following, maybe A to Z and a couple of few canceled TV shows I can think of from back when would have got a cult following too. Instead of thinking about, like, as soon as when the show's canceled, it's like, well, that show no longer exists anymore. Well, shows like that had its run. May it rest in peace. And I don't know what I can see in store coming from Cristin Milioti or any of the cast members from this show in the future. Well, if NBC drove Whitney Cummings away, maybe they will probably drive the cast of this show away too. And we probably won't see them for a few years too. We don't know. So, in final thoughts, what do you guys think? So, in closing of this video, what do you guys think of A to Z? I'm only gonna say this to those that watched the show before I did. Long than I did, although it's a short-lived show. Did you thought the show was good? Did you guys thought the show sucked? Did you guys thought the show was meh? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section, and I'll talk about this later. And I would like to, and when you guys do get a chance to post a comment about the show or what I was discussing in general, please do so. And I would like to read what you guys think of the show and what you guys thought. You know the rest of what I mean. So thanks for watching my TV review series. My TV series review. Sorry, I'm so mixed up today. TV series review on A to Z. And I would just say rest in peace on the show since it's canceled. Well, fuck Bad Judge for one. Anthony Marsh Jr. on PR Lost Galaxy 2014. Logging off, and I'll see you guys right back here next time. Be sure to subscribe, drop a like, comment, and everything else in between. And even follow me on Twitter on my Twitter account Marsh Jr. Jr. and beyond. Have a good night. See you guys next time. And my discussion here and regarding of this short-lived NBC sitcom on Terra Ventures Conference Hall is now over.